What's up? Happy Wednesday. My name is Chef Daniela Malfitano. Welcome to my kitchen. Thank you so much for coming and joining me today for another live cooking lesson. We're going to get into it today because I have some beautiful produce that just arrived to my front door from Farm Fresh to You, CSA Farm Box. I highly recommend a CSA if you've never tried it. But I want to talk about one of the most fun, inspiring, makes me feel good vegetable, which is the mighty Romanesco. If you've never used Romanesco, I'm going to tell you all about this amazing vegetable. It is quite amazing. It has a great story, and we're going to make it delicious today because I'm going to make something quick and easy, another lunch for you that you can add to your daily routine, your weekly routine rather. Make this for lunch or a very fast, easy meal like a dinner. We're going to make pan-seared Mediterranean romesco, which I absolutely love. It's really simple to do. We're going to add some delicious flavors that we've talked about at the beginning of the week, like tahini. And we're going to layer this with some fruity flavors. Today, I'm going to use golden raisins in our pan-seared, steamed, and delicious Romanesco. It's going to be really, really, really great. So follow along with me if you want. And yeah, if you have any questions along the way, please put your question right up in the comments box. I can see who's here with me, and I want to get to your question. And if you ask a question, guess what? Your picture and your question I can put on the bottom of the screen here so that everyone can see it. We can all join this conversation and have a great engagement. This is for you. This is really for anyone that hops on that wants to learn how to make plant-based cooking and plant-based living really fun, really approachable. That's my special sauce, and that's what I love to do and love to teach people. So I think without further ado, let's get right into this recipe, shall we? All right, so this is the mighty Romanesco, also known as Roman broccoli or Romanesco broccoli. Who's used this before? Show of hands. Just kidding, I can't see you. But I can feel you. If you've used this, then let me know you've used it. I want to see, just take a little poll for people coming on here. Is this a new vegetable for you? Well, I recently discovered this. I feel like I discovered this 2 years ago, really discovered it. I've known about Romanesco. I used to call it green broccoli or spiral broccoli because it has these spiral pointy, florets. They're really delicious. They're really gorgeous, most importantly. But I really got into it recently as of the last few years because it comes up in my farm box that I get. And I rarely see it in the grocery store, rarely see it in the farmer's market. But I often will get it in my CSA Farm Box delivery. Now, the cool thing about Romanesco is I'm going to show you on my overhead cam. I'm going to just do a little quick split screen here. Okay, here, I'll just show you this cam. Look at this, right? Take a look at the beauty of this vegetable. Just kind of look at it for a second and see what you see, right? It looks like broccoli for the most part. It kind of has the same shape. It has the same size. You can see that it has leaves here, kind of grows like a cabbage would, right? It's got that cruciferous vegetable look with these stems and leaves and then these big florets up top. But take a look at the florets themselves. Look at the pattern. I just really love this Romanesco broccoli because it has this beautiful, crazy cool pattern that actually are little spirals. Do you see that? I'm pointing to one right here. See my index finger? So I love this vegetable mostly because of its beauty. There is so much in the vegetable kingdom that creates this spiral or fractal effect. These little spirals here are actually known as fractals. And fractals are patterns that are formed from chaotic equations containing self-similar patterns. Okay, so if you start now to opening your eyes to fractal pattern in nature, you'll see it more and more. I love looking at fractals and finding fractals all over. It's really fun, though, with the foods that I eat to experience what the fractals actually look like and how they're repetitive. So you can see that these fractals are actually smaller scales. They're formed with a relatively simple equation. It's literally an iteration of repeating the same fractal generating equations many times over and over and over again. And so I'm nerding out about this because it's so fun to think about. It's so fun to know that this is an example of how perfect nature really is. that actually we're all just, you know, a replication of what came before us. And then we can replicate and continue to do the same. But we as humans are just one example. The vegetable kingdom has many amazing examples. And I love the Romanesco broccoli because it's the perfect example of the fractal beauty in nature in a food form. So we're going to use this beautiful Romanesco, Roman cauliflower, as it's also known, as I mentioned. And I'm just going to clean it up. I'm going to take off the stems and the little leaves here around the sides. Just kind of cut these away with your chef's knife. And you can eat some of it, so it's okay if some of it is intact. But see this right here? We want to remove this or cut it away from the florets. And so the goal for us is to really kind of make sure the florets here kind of come out in one piece. So let me compost this. All right, so here's what we're going to do. I'm going to kind of like grab my chef's knife and then go into this. You can kind of see, I'm going to make this screen a little bit bigger. If the music's too loud, let me know. We got DJ Danny on music today. All right. So I'm just going to grab a little area here and just kind of start to run my knife around this core. And what will end up happening is you'll actually get a bunch of these florets popping right off, and you'll expose this beautiful core that has now come off. And look at how gorgeous this is. You see there's like purple essence in here. It's hiding in here. Now, I don't even throw this away. This right here, you can steam this up. You can saute this. You can roast this. This, my friends, is so delicious. You can use this for lots of different things, either whole, enjoy it whole, cooked up. You can enjoy it raw, or you can actually steam it and then puree it for soup, like a Romanesco soup. That'd be great. But look, now we have the head here. It's in full form without this stem intact. And now I can literally just come and like remove florets of this beautiful Romanesco. I think I'm going to keep some of it kind of whole because I don't need all of it for today's dish. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to break these down even further. So I want to get even sized pieces here. If I need to, I can kind of slice it in half and kind of expose the inside here, the flat side. Grab this. All right, I think this is great. I'm going to make a couple more of these a little smaller. There we go. And this one, I think. Now, you can also use regular broccoli for this. This would be wonderful with any form of broccoli. Even cauliflower would be great. Even broccolini, rapini, broccoli rub, all of these would work wonders as well. So this is great. Heck, you know what? Why not do the whole thing, right? Danny, you're hungry, right? Yeah. Danny's question. All right, here she is, my mother, Roberta Baumgartner. Does it taste like broccoli? I mean, can you eat it raw? Yes, you can, Mom. You can totally eat it raw. Here, I'm going to give you a little sampling. I have my little fractal here. Yum. It's so good. You know, to be honest, Mom, I think it has like a more mild flavor than broccoli. Broccoli tends to be, has like a more robust flavor, I think. Romanesco is more mild. And I feel like I kind of knew that before I tried it the first time, just based on the color alone. It has a very beautiful kind of a lighter color than broccoli. So it's not going to have that intense chlorophyll kind of greenish flavor. It's more of a neutral, which is really great because it means that you can use it in many different applications in many different ways. The thing about Romanesco, though, is that unlike broccoli, you really want to showcase these fractal florets. You don't want to puree, you can, but you don't really want to get this beautiful fractal vegetable and then like puree it all because you're wasting the beauty of it. You certainly may, and you can do whatever you want because it's your choice and your business and your kitchen. But I just want to say that when I'm using Romanesco and I'm taking the time to like enjoy and honor its beauty, I want to really accentuate it. So I want to actually keep these florets intact. And look at this, will you? This is like perfect. It's so gorgeous. Kind of looks like a little tree or something. It's like so yummy and so gorgeous. And here we go. I think that that's all ready to go. You can see I have my pile of my Romanesco ready. And I'm going to get it started right in my fry pan or my saute pan right next to me. So I'm going to get this on a high heat. And yes, I do want to cook this on a high heat. Remember, this is a quick and easy lunch, so I don't want this to take that long. I want it to be simple. I want it to come together easily so that you can have a meal on your hands and ready to go. So let me grab my oil. So for this dish, I'm definitely going to use my extra virgin olive oil. It's my darker oil here. I always talk about extra virgin olive oil because it's heart healthy. It's got wonderful omega-3s. It's very, very good for our brain as well as our heart. It's flavorful. It's got a pretty good smoke point. It's not the highest of the smoke points. So it's not great for high heat, like wok cooking. It's not good for frying and things like that. Although I have tried to use it that way and I've made it work. But it's really good for sauteing. It's going to impart lots of fruity, oily flavor, olivey flavor. So I'm going to coat the bottom of my pan here with a little bit of this EVOO, extra virgin olive oil. We could thank Rachel Ray for that acronym. Did you know that Rachel Ray came up with that? EVOO. Brilliant. Just brilliant. All right. Extra virgin olive oil, we've coated the bottom. Now, if you are like me on occasions and like to do oil-free recipes, if you're getting more into this, you can enjoy doing this recipe with just a little bit of water or vegetable stock. You don't necessarily have to use oil, although oil is going to give you a little bit more flavor, and it's going to probably evaporate a lot slower than water or stock will, but any of those other liquids will work perfectly. So just know that you can do this just the same with oil or stock. And I love vegetable stock because it's kind of just great to have on hand, especially if you're interested in oil-free cooking or low oil cooking. You got to have multiple boxes of great organic vegetable stock on hand. Just makes the jobs easier. All right, so I'm not going to let this touch the oil. I'm not going to put the Romanesco in until this is starting to get nice and kind of like viscous. I can see that it is now. It kind of shimmers like a ribbon. Do you guys see that? You can even see it in the camera here. That's how I know that this oil is nice and hot, and that's perfect. I want to throw my Romanesco right in now. And just let this work. Just do its magic. I'm going to let this go for like 3, 4, 5 minutes and just kind of let it hang out, caramelize, kind of like get nice and tender. It's really, really great. I wanted to show you, I want to just say one more thing about the fractal pattern here because I looked it up and this is so interesting. This vibrant form of cauliflower, Romanesco broccoli, is the ultimate fractal vegetable. Its pattern is a natural representation of the Fibonacci or golden spiral. This is a logarithmic spiral where every quarter turn is farther from the origin by a factor of pi. The golden ratio. This is so cool. What? So cool. I had no idea. Okay, so it gets even better. I love it. I love you even more, Romanesco. Yum. So there's lots of different ways to enjoy it. I really like it pan-seared, but you can also enjoy Romanesco raw, like my mom asked this great question. I've just recently discovered amazing raw Romanesco salad recipes where you can actually cut this in small, thin kind of like planks, like thin little planks, and then toss it, or even like julienne pieces where you still get that like spiral tip on the tip there. You can slice it up really thin. You can throw it into a delicious marinade of white wine vinegar, extra virgin olive oil, a little sea salt. You might throw in some sliced celery, some apple, some parsley. I've also enjoyed looking up delicious grain or pasta recipes for Romanesco. And one of the things that I really love is to enjoy this with pasta. Like you can use penne pasta, works really well with this because you kind of have similar shapes, right? And you can enjoy this, again, saute the Romanesco. You can use onion, shallot, garlic, and then you can add to it Kalamata olives, capers, and then throw in some whole wheat pasta or some legume pasta. It's so delicious. So definitely lots of choices for the Romanesco. You know what? I don't want to get my plant shirt dirty, so let me get my apron on proper. Here we go. All right, so I'm just letting this go. I'm really wanting to make sure that this gets nice and kind of like golden brown, kind of caramelized on the outside. I'm going to hit this with a little kosher salt and black pepper. Let me grab that. And then I'm also going to use a finishing salt for this dish. Okay, a little kosher salt and a little freshly ground black pepper. So what we're doing is for a couple of minutes, we're letting this Romanesco get nice and golden brown, crispy, caramelized, and then we'll add the next ingredients. And then to this, we're actually, ooh, that pepper is nice and like spicy today when it hits. To this, we're gonna add some golden raisins. We're going to finish this with a lemon tahini cilantro sauce, which we made earlier in the week. We made it on Monday. It was awesome. Check that out if you want that recipe. But I'm going to finish it out. All right, here's another question. My aunt, look, it's a family affair. Hi, Auntie Ree. All right, how about some red pepper flake? So good. Okay, Auntie Ree, I did this for you. You could add red pepper flake to this right now. That's going to make it super duper hot and spicy because the chili flakes are going to have a second to kind of open up, breathe, and let their oils release. But I did this for you. I'm going to actually finish this with a chili onion crunch, mine and your favorite condiment from Trader Joe's, right? You know about this. For people that don't know about it, I'm going to talk about it later. But look, I'm just going to give you a little preview. Chili onion crunch from Trader Joe's. This stuff is incredible. And this is what I'm going to actually top it off with. So I'm not going to add red chili flakes to my dish because I don't want it to be overly spicy. But you could. Yay. I know you'd be excited about that. All right. So now you want to make sure that this gets nice and tender. And the Romanesco on its own in the pan without a cover is not going to get as tender as we'd like it. I can tell already it's starting to get nice and soft, but it's not going to get fully tenderized. So one of the things that I want to do is I need to add some water to this to allow it to kind of steam in its own heat right here in the fry pan. So let me grab some filtered water. Uh-oh. All right, it's okay. No, that's all right, Danny. I'll use my water bottle. This is, I haven't had any yet. I'm going to add a little bit of water. I added about a couple tablespoons just to let it like kind of deglaze for a second. And then I added like a quarter of a cup on top of that. And this is now going to start to steam. And to this, I'm going to add some golden raisins. If you've never used golden raisins, now's the time. Super great with broccoli, especially Romanesco or Roman broccoli like this. Add these right in. You want about a quarter of a cup, okay? And these are going to get nice and plump. They're going to kind of like pick up all of the flavors of the Romanesco water, the steaming water here, the liquid. And they're also just going to like steam also nice and get nice and tender with the Romanesco itself. It's going to be great. All right. So, oh, here we go. Shannon, what's up? Miss you, girl. All right. Hey, what's going on? Do you prefer, it's me. Do I prefer kosher salt or Himalayan? Good question. All right. I'm going to show you, do a little quick salt lesson. I got kosher salt here. I got this cool ingredient called Malden salt, flaky salt, and I've got some sea salt here. Also, this could be the Himalayan, right? So we've got the three salts, the kosher salt. It's going to be a little process. It's going to be very coarse. Here's what we're looking at. This is going to be much easier to use. It's going to give you a really nice salt flavor. All right. I really like this. This is a standard salt, but I'm actually heading more into the Himalayan or the sea salt territory now. Here's the sea salt that I like. It's super thin. Himalayan actually is the pink version of sea salt. It comes from, it's different. It actually comes from mountains instead of actually coming from, always coming from the sea. This is going to be Himalayan or sea salt least processed, okay? And then there's Malden flake salt. If you've never used flaky salt or Malden, Malden salt is really, really great. It is basically created. It's taken from the ocean, and then it's actually like chipped into these really large flaky salt pieces. This is great as a finishing salt. This is great as a dressing or marinade salt. And then the kosher salt is really kind of your standard cooking salt, okay? My preference, though, is leaning more towards sea salt. That is my default. And then everything else are kind of going to be the alternatives or the additions that I might use if I don't have the sea salt, or if I need something that's a little bit more robust, I'll go to my kosher salt. For Romanesco, you definitely want something that's a little bit more robust. That's why we're using kosher salt. And then we will finish this dish with a little bit of Malden or flake salt. Great question. Thank you so much, Shannon. Miss you. All right. Good questions, people. I'm loving it. This is really great. The Romanesco has been on now for about 4 or 5 minutes, probably a little longer than that. And I'm just going to test it for my tenderness. Now, I don't know about you, but I like my vegetables al dente, and that is actually an Italian term that means to the tooth. So what that means is that it's actually going to give you a kind of a chew or a texture. The whole point of al dente is that it's not completely steamed. It's not completely softened. It's to the tooth. So it still has a crunch or a bite or a toothy factor about it, a mouthfeel consistency that has crunch. It's great. And that's how I really like my veggies. You can actually cook al dente when you're steaming, when you're boiling, or when you're pan searing. It doesn't matter. It just means cooking it a little bit less time. Cool. I'm just gonna let this hang out here, but I'm gonna turn off the heat. And that residual heat will continue to cook and work this out. All right, so for my dressing, I really, really wanna add a dressing. Like I said, I'm not gonna remake it. Today I'm gonna actually show you the dressing. It is tahini, cilantro, garlic, water, and lemon. It's all blended together in a food processor. We did make this earlier in the week. Check out the replay if you're curious about this. We made it the day that we made our veggie-filled quinoa bowls. That was on Monday. Hashtag replay. Watch that. All right, so this is a wonderful ingredient. How it's made is actually with tahini. This is organic tahini if you've never used it, or if you pass it in the supermarket and you don't buy it because you don't know how to use it, here is a wonderful way to use it. There's so many uses for this stuff, but this is great as a sandwich spread, a wrap spread. You can make marinades, you can make delicious sauces, and most importantly, delicious dressings, which I love. But the best part about tahini is that it's a plant-based dream. It's a vegan person's dream because it packs a ton of protein. Only in 2 tablespoons, you're going to get 8 grams of protein. That is a ton of for a seed. Sesame seeds is how this is made. It's just paste, sesame seed paste. That's it. It's like sesame seed, it's like sesame seed butter. It's like peanut butter, but instead of making it from peanuts, it's made from sesame seeds. This is made from white sesame seeds. It's really, really has a very kind of almost like a round, very nutty, very almost bitter flavor. It's leaning on bitter, I should say, not fully bitter. So it's really great if you can layer this with delicious herbs. In this case, we used cilantro, again, lemon, just a beautiful lemon here. We used a beautiful couple cloves of garlic. We zip this with a little cilantro or any of our soft herbs. I'm going to my front cam here. Remember, I hold my soft herbs in a vase of water, and I just grabbed like half of my bunch out for this dressing, put it in my food processor, zipped everything together until it was nice and thin. It's really, really great. All right, so I'm loving this. I'm loving this so much. This is gonna be the perfect addition to my Romanesco. I'm just gonna give a little piece a try just so I can taste the tenderness. Oh man. Bingo. It's really great. It's definitely still al dente. I love it. The vibrant green color hasn't gone away. It's phenomenal, okay? It's gonna be even better once we have a little dressing on this and we toss it with some delicious spices and chili. All right, here's another question. Marie's asking, can you do this recipe with Brussels sprouts instead of Romanesco? We sure can. Brussels sprouts would be great in this. Another thing that I wanted to mention is those flowering cauliflower. You guys seen this in Trader Joe's yet? It's this new vegetable. It is flowering cauliflower. It looks like little tiny cauliflower heads with a long stem. Phenomenal. But yes, you can do this with Brussels sprouts. You can do this with regular, like I said, broccoli rabe, rapini, Romanesco, of course, regular broccoli, rainbow cauliflower. Any of these would be phenomenal, including Brussels sprouts. And for Brussels sprouts, I would actually even maybe cut them in half, kind of expose the middle, and then sear them, pan sear them just like that. Same ingredients, though, would be great with golden raisin still and would be great with the tahini, cilantro, lemon sauce. All right, so let's get this ready. I'm going to serve this with an amazing new grain that I just discovered. I am super into it. You guys get into it. It's called fonio, and this is a grain that is from West Africa. Now, I'm going to give you a little history lesson because the package has it right here. This is Africa, the continent of, and that's West Africa. All of these areas, all of these little, not little, all of these crazy big countries right here. Africa is a huge, huge continent. So we've got Senegal, we've got the Ivory Coast. There's a lot. And it's really great. This West African region is known for a plant-based diet. There are some of the most healthiest people living in the continent of Africa, but specifically areas of West Africa. And I'm loving doing research on these blue zones, or where people actually live longer than any other pockets of the world. And the reason they do is because they eat plant foods, whole plant foods. That's the staple of their diet. So this is great. This is called fonio, and it is a grain. I'm going to show you what it looks like because it's super cool. Get it on Thrive Market, you guys. You can purchase this right on Thrive. And let me just show you on my overhead. Danny, can you give me the overhead? There we go. Look, it looks like gray salt. It truly looks like gray salt. It truly looks like perhaps even like pepper. Do you see that? It's so tiny. It's so delicious. It cooks in 5 minutes. It cooks just like couscous. If you've ever used couscous, meaning you just have to actually like get this water kind of up to a boil, throw in the fonio, which is what this grain is called, cover it and let it sit for about 5 minutes. And what it ends up turning into is it like triples in size and you get this delicious brownish, amazing brownish, whitish grain. They stay pretty small. You guys, I'm loving it so much. I just discovered it, got this bag this week. And what I love most about it is it gives you a little bit of information on the back about fonio. It says meat fonio. Fonio is a tiny, nutritious, climate-smart ancient grain that has been prized across West Africa for 5,000 years. That's a ton. It's light and fluffy, and it's just a bit nutty. But the best part about reading this is that in Mali, fonio is known as the seed of the universe. Okay, you know that when I read that, I was like, okay, this is my favorite food. I said to Danny last night, I was like, I'm just going to be that annoying person that when someone asks me what's your favorite like grain, I'm going to say fonio. And that's just going to be like, people like hate that stuff, right? But it's just like, come on. It's called the seed of the universe. Of course, it's going to be my favorite. And it speaks for itself in flavor. It's really, really delicious. It's very neutral, but it has like this just delicious nuttiness. It's going to go with everything. Last night, we made it with sauteed cabbage with this Berber spice, this African spice blend. Come on, get into it with me, will ya? All right, so if you want this, check out Thrive Market. Can't actually sell this to you. I wish that I could, but you have to do your own research. It's fonio, and it comes from Thrive Market. That's the only place I've ever seen it. So I am now going to finish off this cauliflower, this Romanesco, why did I say cauliflower? This Roman broccoli Romanesco dish here. I want to just plate this right over my fonio or any grain. You could use sprouted quinoa like we've been doing. You could truly use anything that you want. And I'm going to load it up. Remember, with plant-based foods, with a whole food plant-based diet, I've been saying this a lot. You can actually enjoy this food ad libitum, which means without restriction. And this comes from the amazing research at nutritionfacts.org. If you're interested and need a resource for how to trust real nutrition-based evidence around our diets and what we eat, check out nutritionfacts.org. It comes to you by the amazing Dr. Michael Greger, who recently wrote the book, How Not to Die. It's his third book. You guys, I'm super into it. It is such an amazing book. Please get it if you're interested. It is all about taking every bit of science that's ever been done, that's ever been studied, that's ever been researched, peer-reviewed, researched, and proven that a whole food plant-based diet is the only diet that can arrest and reverse all chronic illness and literally is the food of human beings. It is what we are intended to eat based on our eyesight, based on how our jaws move, based on how our teeth are aligned, based on what our blood cells need, based on what our skin needs, all of this. Whole food plant-based diet is the best. And I'm loving this book because it's just showing me page after page, it's proving it again and again and again. How Not to Die, that's by Dr. Michael Greger. Check it out. And if you want a little bit more information on the work he does, check out nutritionfacts.org. You can literally type in any question you have about nutrition, and there's going to be a piece of research done. And if it hasn't been done yet, that means there's actually no real research that's been proven quite yet. The cool thing about the work that he does is he actually studies every peer-reviewed scientific study that's ever been published every single year. And he goes over it every single year again and again and again to make sure they haven't missed anything. And it's just kind of amazing to see what research comes out of all of this. It's wonderful to know that we actually have evidence around a whole food plant-based diet now. It's not just like lip service. We actually know it's the best. So enjoy it ad libitum, without restriction. Load up your plate with the grains, with the veggies. This is going to have a ton of protein, this sauce right now. So I'm just going to use a little sauce, kind of drizzle this on I'm also then going to just kind of hit this with a little bit of any spices. You can use sumac for this. I'm going to use za'atar, which is an amazing spice blend that I got in Israel this past February when I was there before COVID. I can't even believe we were in Israel, like literally the 2 seconds before all of this global pandemic really started. Crazy. So I have some za'atar here. Oh, look, it's I kept it in a little like container from the hotel we were staying at, Carlton, that in Tel Aviv, which was really cool. And I got this from the amazing Mahayuda market, which is one of the most important and famous markets in Israel. And I loved it. I just loved seeing all these spices, like in these huge piles. And I'm just going to use a little bit of this here. I'm going to put it in the palm of my hand. If you've never used za'atar, it is a blend of amazing things. Coriander, sesame seed, I believe some zest, definitely some yeah, I already said coriander, definitely some parsley. It's all ground together. Everyone has their own, maybe a little bit of a different version of this, but it's amazing. It's really, really great. It's very green smelling. It's amazing. So I'm going to just sprinkle it on, and I'm actually putting it in the palm of my hands first before I sprinkle it on, because I really want to make sure that I get an even surface area here. I'm going to sprinkle it from as high up as I can, sprinkle like little snowflakes. And what that does is it actually creates a wider surface area. So you're going to actually season more evenly. And then I'm going to finish this with a little bit of this. Oh, wait, no, 2 more ingredients. I need that chili. I told my Auntie Ree that I would add this, a little of this bit of this chili. Remember, this is the chili onion crunch from Trader Joe's. It's in the condiment section or the sauces section. And look, it's just this like onions, garlic, and oil. It's so yummy. So I'm just going to give this a couple spots. Just kind of hit it with some of this anywhere it will fall. Coolio. And I really like it super spicy. I'm going to add a little bit more. Perfect. Auntie Ree, you can have as much as you want of this. Enjoy. All right, now we have some flake salt here. So this is the Malden salt. Again, here we go. Look at how like crystallized it is. Super great. Remember, this is very salty because it's very big. So as you're placing it down, I kind of like to crack it just a little bit more, just ever so slightly. And that's an amazing dish. I don't know about you, but this looks like lunch, and it looks like a perfect lunch because it's going to be nutrient packed. It's going to keep me satiating, feeling really full for a long period of time. Remember, we have on this plate right here everything we could ever need. We have the seeds of the universe in the fonio. We have the Fibonacci spiral fractal of the Romanesco. Beautiful. This right here might be even a magical lunch, if I do say so myself. I'm salivating, and I think that means it's time for a little bite. How about it? I need a clean spoon. And like I always do, I want a little bit of everything, right? I want like a little bit of the fonio, a little bit of the garlic chili crunch, maybe a little piece of this Romanesco, a golden raisin, can't forget that. Here we go. I don't know what to tell you. You have to try this. It's so good. It speaks for itself. It is crunchy. It is delicious. It's fresh. It's spicy. It's herbaceous. The fonio is nutty. The Romanesco is just perfect. Truly, truly is, you guys. The golden raisins added just a touch of sweetness that can't be missed. It's perfect for this. I absolutely love this dish, and I hope that you do too. Please try it. And if you do, go ahead and like hashtag, right? Choose healthy. This happens to be the Plant-Based Made Easy show. If you want to learn more, you can always hashtag Plant-Based Made Easy, or you can join our Facebook group called Plant-Based Made Easy. I have a lot of different offerings for people to plug in to learn about the importance of going plant-based today. And I want to hear from you. I want to know, like, what are the things that you want to see me make? What are the things that you are having some issues with, that maybe you're finding yourself getting in a rut? You really need some new culinary inspiration. That's my specialty. Please reach out for help. I'm here for you. This is a free resource for anyone that's interested. I hope that you really do enjoy these recipes. If you want to see see something that see me make something in the studio, say something to me, and I certainly will add it to our schedule for sure. We're coming online most days of the week. Sometimes I'm going to take breaks. I'm experimenting with timing right now. I'm experimenting with different types of recipes, but you can know and be sure they're all going to be simple. They're all going to be very approachable, and I'm going to keep it super duper fun, you guys. Thank you, everyone who came. I appreciate you. Yaritz, Shannon, Roberta, Robin, I appreciate you. I see a lot of comments in here. I'm loving it. Yes, Mom, you can have some. Shannon, thank you so much for coming. Yes, you can use every bit of that chili onion crunch. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Please come back for more, you guys. We have a ton more in store for you this week. I feel like I'm just kind of like cooking for you what I'm cooking for my family, and I hope that you like that. But if I don't get to see you again or interact with you again, hopefully you'll come back in the future weeks. And until then, go out there, have a wonderful rest of your day. Make it special and make it magical, more importantly. I'll see you next time. Peace out.